Some of the common mistakes that over the years I've seen that people make in their marriages is that they don't give their marriages the value that it deserves. A lot of women tend to feel like with the new modernization and the whole idea of women empowerment and emancipation, they have to feel like they are equal to their partners. Two cooks cannot be in the kitchen. The kitchen is gonna get too hot. The broth is gonna get too much salt or too much pepper. So, what am I saying? When you decide that you want to get married, and like they say in church that the two have become one and equally yoked, you should be ready to work with your partner as a team. That's why I always emphasize on the idea of a marriage being a partnership, a marriage being a business, where you both look at your skills and say who is best at this. If one person is best at nurturing the kids, or one person is great at, organizing the finances, that's what you need to do. As a little girl growing up, I used to go to my aunt in one of her cities in Cameroon, where I saw a lot of power struggle in a marriage. At that young age, I've seen it throughout my life, but this particular one was really outstanding to me because I was very young. And I saw how a husband and a wife quarreled, fight, just make a show for everybody to watch just because of power struggle. And the woman will say things like, "You're not going to tell me what to do. I will do what I want to do, how I want to do it. I don't care that you're my husband. I am also a human being. You're not going to impose on me. You're not going to tell me what I need to do. Let me be. Yes, you're my husband. So what? What can you provide?" A husband will know money. A husband will know not being able to provide. And let me tell you, that stayed in my mind. As I started growing and I decided when I got into college to study women's studies, one of my curiosity was to understand the role of a man and the role of a woman. As much as in my own layman's mind, I knew that a man goes and marries a woman and the man is the head of the household, but that story had stuck in my head. I wanted to know, are the roles clear? Do they define the roles when people get married and say, this is your role and this is your role? And when I started understanding women's studies, I realized that, yeah, they're talking about women's emancipation. They're talking about women's empowerment, but they're not saying. A lot of people get the whole gender thing wrong. What I came to understand is that, when they talk about women's emancipation or they talk about gender roles, they're not talking about the fact that there are certain roles that are actually for a woman and certain roles that are a man's role. All they're talking about most times when they talk about gender roles is mostly tied into cultural, because a lot of cultures have roles that they've identified that is male focus or women focus. But when you get married to your husband, the two have become one. You figure it out. You figure what works for your family. If the man is the better provider, then he goes out and provide. If both of you work together by going out and work and bring money to provide, that's what you got to do. If it's a situation where maybe your kids are young and you want to be the stay-home parent, you guys sit together and say, the person who is going out to work, are they able to bring enough money to run the home? Or should we both go out and work and just pay somebody to take care of our kids for us? Or should we talk to our parents or a family member who can come in and help us? These are agreements. These are decisions that as a couple you sit and you make that decision, how it works for your family. That's why I always say that regardless of all the advice and the ideas that we're giving out here, it's for you to tailor it to your family pattern. It's for you to see if that really works for your family and see if you want to implement that. They are not hard and fast rules. Sometimes when I talk about topics like this, I get emotional, I get worked up, because I kind of feel like people like to take stuff and change it how it fits their own narrative. You're going to hear somebody say things like, "Oh, my husband wants me to be the one to work a lot." Did you guys sit down and talk about, how that is going to benefit your family. Maybe you're the one who makes more money. So of course, your husband is going to assume that you should go out and work more because maybe you have the qualification, or abroad, there are lots of jobs that women can have that men cannot have it. Or it's easier for women to do, meanwhile men are not really welcome in that field. So if your husband says, please honey, I think you should go out and do more hours, you have to see if it works for your family dynamics. You can say to your partner, honey, I understand that you want me to go make more hours, but maybe because I really want to be there for my kids, I want to be involved in their growth and their educational process, I think that let's just downsize. There is nothing wrong in downsizing. I did it. I did it. A lot of the things that I say is things that I have done. So I'm not one of those who come out here and teach what I've not implemented, because I know that most of the things worked for me and it was great for me. Life is not all about money. It's not all about wealth. It's not all about showing off and trying to prove something that is not necessary. It's about the two people who have decided to become a couple to sit and say, how can we do this better? What do you think is going to work for us? And let me tell you, a lot of times, even if it doesn't work, you can re-strategize. And that whole blame thing to say, oh, you made us do this, you made us do that. Life is trial and error. Nobody has the handbook to make sure that everything works correctly. Because I know a lot of marriages that have broken because people start doing the blame game. Oh, look at our lives now. It's you who made us make the decision. People just try things. People just suggest ideas in a marriage that they think might be helpful. So if it doesn't work out, don't kill your partner. Just say, how can we do it differently? Yeah, we are late on our mortgage. Do you think maybe for the couple of weeks coming, we should take extra hours so we can catch up with our mortgage? Rather than frowning and acting out and blaming your partner, it's not going to help. Problem. I had to do that. There's once upon a time, I used to work 7 days a week. My kids were in Africa. When my kids came back, I downsized. I reduced a lot of my wants and I focused on my needs. There were times that I did 3 days a week just to be around for the kids. It doesn't mean that me doing that means that my kids were not still gonna have some issues. It was about me doing what I think that I can live with myself. I know as a human being that I made the sacrifice. What I always tell a lot of people in marriages is that a lot of the decisions that you make in your marriage, be it raising your kids, be it running your family, it's about just doing what you think is right. Yeah, you're going to fall and dust yourself and get back up and do it again. Just realize that in life, we have ups and downs, we make mistakes, we make corrections. And if you have that mindset, things are going to go better. Life is all about a mindset. I'll tell you that for sure. And when you make your mindset in a way that, you are open to new opportunities and open to new ideas, you're not going to beat yourself too much. And if you understand that life is all about winning and losing, when you win, you're going to celebrate. When you lose, you're going to figure the next way that you can do it differently so you can win. Don't beat yourself. I think a lot of people, the problem is competition, greed, over imagining things, live in the moment, plan, strategize, but know that it's not all the time that your strategy is going to work. You can re-strategize. You can sit back and look at your decisions and do things differently if it did not work out. That's why I'm doing these reflections, because I'm looking back and I'm saying, where did I make mistakes? What are some of the gaps in my strategy? How can I do it differently? What can I do to help other people in the process of life where they can do things and don't have to suffer the way I had to suffer because of poor decisions and bad strategies? So today on my reflection, I just want to say that we all are a work in progress. Don't look at anybody and say, oh, poor me, and try to be jealous or try to want to have their lives. People have different problems in life, and you don't want to embrace anybody's problems. God gives us problems that He knows we can handle.